Welcome back. I'm Rahne, and I'm joined by Damassys, Kadesh, and we're going to be commentating Brave Newbies versus Stay Frosty. Stay Frosty is a low-sec alliance that stages out of Galente Caldari faction warfare space led by Rick Javix. Brave Nubbies is actually led by Catalia Miss, and they are a null-sec alliance staging out near the catch area in southern TQ. Damassys, do you want to walk us through where these teams are at in this tournament?
Yeah, this is a really interesting match because both of these teams have been through two matches and they each have one win and one loss. So we've got kind of a mix of performance out of each of these teams, and because they each have one loss, this is an elimination match. So whoever loses is getting knocked out and whoever wins is moving on. So quite a bit of pressure on both teams, and also due to the fact that you cannot bring a composition more than once throughout the tournament, and each match is prefaced by a fresh ban. Both of these teams are down to a lot less options for what they're able to bring to this match.
So a lot at stake here. And if they do actually win, whoever does win will be able to go to day 2 where they're actually going to be able to compete for some prizes. I know on TQ, the big prizes for the normal tournaments are usually giant, like really expensive ships, but for this tournament, I believe we actually have just a bunch of ISK/Plex and then potentially some skins. So these guys can still walk away with some prizes if they actually manage to win today.
Definitely, yeah. There's still quite a bit at stake here. And so just looking at the picks and bans here, Brave Nubbies, their ban was kind of an easy one. The Drekavac comp from Stay Frosty, they've knocked that out from their available selections. The Drekavac has proven to be pretty strong so far in the tournament. And Stay Frosty's banned out Brave Newbies' Drake Navy issue comp, which has also been proving to be pretty strong. A lot of people are picking it, are bringing it to their matches. Just massive missile spam built around that Drake Navy.
Yeah, and speaking of missile spam, I want to say Brave Newbies actually are bringing the Cyclone and that Caracal Navy issue. And I know this match was pre-recorded, so we kind of get these fits ahead of time. So both the Cyclone and Caracal Navy have HAMs, or heavy assault missiles, so they're going to be able to get in close and just spam DPS on the Stay Frosty team.
Yeah, and so they've got a lot of tackle basically to get that close range DPS into position. And even the Stay Frosty team has got some projection, but it's also fairly close range as well. So the match is about to get underway here. What does it look like for the Warpins, Rahne?
So it looks like Brave Nubbies in blue actually warped in at 0, whereas Stay Frosty, you said they were close range, but they opted to warp a little bit further away. It looks like, I'm going to say maybe 30 kilometers, and the match has started.
Yeah, Brave Newbies charging in there, trying to get those heavy assault missiles applying as soon as possible. And it looks like Stay Frosty's kind of starbursting, everyone going in a different direction there.
Yeah, so Brave Newbies, obviously, like you were saying, that tackle has to get in there, pin something down. It looks like they're actually going for that Navy Harbinger, which is probably one of the slower ships on the grid, piloted by Rick Javix. Whereas Stay Frosty is actually priming that Ares off the field. I'm assuming that probably had that Harbinger tackled.
Yeah, an interesting choice going for the Ares, but getting it off the field pretty easily and pretty quickly. Looks like maybe they're switching onto the Cyclone. And we see a lot of ECM coming off that Blackbird spread out across the Brave Newbies team. I wonder how much of an effect that is having on their ability to lock the target that they want to shoot at.
Yeah, it's interesting because we now see the Blackbird actually going down, so we can make the assumption that the Cyclone and Navy Caracal were actually being jammed by that Blackbird, meaning it would be the only thing on grid they'd be able to shoot. Because the Harbinger Navy stopped actually getting shot at, but now it's the Suneisis, which is also starting to die.
Yeah, the strategy with the Blackbird, with the ECM, basically, he's basically just drawing all the focus onto himself, and he's fit with a 1600 plate just to soak up as much damage and take as much time as possible. Now that Cyclone went down very fast, and they lost their Merlin on the Brave Newbies side. That was some quick progress there made by Stay Frosty.
Yeah, so the Cyclone I know had an Ansel shield booster, so once that was out of charges, the Cyclone's tank's not going to be able to hold him. Additionally, with both a Vedmak and a Kikimora, having that DPS ramp and build up on that Cyclone after its Ansel is done should be hitting max DPS on the Cyclone, which is why we probably saw it fall so fast. Looks like they're now losing their Hyena, even though they haven't had anything to trade for that.
It's worth noting that based on the icons we're seeing here for the application of E-War, Stay Frosty is doing a really good job of spreading that out and just reducing the effectiveness of everyone on the Brave Newbies side as they lose their Hyena there. So now we're down to just the Vagabond and the Navy Caracal left on Brave Newbies. I think Stay Frosty have just completely gotten control of this fight. I don't know if they're going to lose a single ship.
Yeah, mad props to the Stay Frosty tackle and their actual strategy of like starbursting. I'm going to say that probably the tackle and especially that Blackbird did a really good job at controlling the Brave Newbies team, trying to keep them in place as well as mitigate that DPS.
It looks like Huntra and the Suneisis on the Stay Frosty side managed to pull away just before hitting structure, and is going to survive as they take out the last ship on Brave Newbies side, the Vagabond, for a clean sweep. And now the Suneisis is taking some structure damage. Do you think it's going to live?
It might. That Vagabond's struggling. Oh no. So Catalia, actually, the Brave Newbies captain, being the last one to die on the field. So victory to Stay Frosty, and we'll actually see them in the future of this tournament.
And that was a clean sweep. Great job to the Stay Frosty team. Really good coordination on their side.
I think the Blackbird jams like really screwed up the missile spam. That missile spam only really works as either you're able to kill everything with just yourself or you gotta coordinate it together. And it didn't seem like they were able to do that at all.
And I think you made a good point about the Triglavian weapons ramping up there, because with their focus firing, nothing's going to be able to hold up for very long against that kind of damage.
Yeah, I was really impressed though because like that Cyclone I thought it was doing well, and then the Vagabond at the end. Like I know Ansel shield boosters are super strong in some of these tournament plays, so I don't know if like the Cyclone died with extra charges, or I just didn't catch the fact that it was burning through those charges as it was dying.
Yeah, I glanced away for just a moment, and then when I looked back, it was gone already. So I'm not sure if it was, like you said, just nuked right through its charges, or if it had used them all up.
And I'm trying to think because Frosty had a bunch of newts, but I don't know how well those came into play. Because like missiles don't get shut off with newts. I guess maybe they could have prevented a lot of the tackle. Oh, I wonder if that's what it was. If the Stay Frosty tackle or Stay Frosty newts help prevent a lot of the tackle from the Brave Newbie side from holding them down.
Yeah, definitely a good tactic to use newts against smaller ships, especially in a short battle like this, like inside the arena. In my experience, anytime we've tried to use newts on a bigger ship as a tactic to shut it down, there's just not enough time to make that kind of progress in cap warfare.
Yeah, I bet that had something to do. I'm assuming it had something to do, but we can only make the assumption. And I'm really glad to see like E-War is still viable in tournaments, but it doesn't just like completely one-sided tournament. Back to the studio.